Hi, it's just another quick one. This is a precursor, another one, quick one on Euclid. Before we do the series of videos on Euclid's optics within the next few days. This is from famousscientists.org. This is a precursor to that, so we know who Euclid was and about his work and stuff like that, and what he apparently did. So here we are. This is a depiction of Euclid. Nobody knows what he looked like. This is just a depiction of what they think he might have looked like. That's not actually what he looked like, as far as I know, as I'm aware. This is when he supposedly lived, 325 to 270 BC. Euclid authored The Elements, the most famous and most published mathematical work in history. The Elements is concerned mainly with geometry, proportion, and number. Number theory. Sorry, I was miles with them. Enormously influential in mathematics teaching for over 2,000 years. The Elements provided the spark that inspired many of the world's greatest mathematicians and scientists to embark on their remarkable intellectual journeys. I wouldn't say they've embarked on an intellectual journey, because most of them are intellectually dishonest, to be fair. So I wouldn't say that myself. I'd say most of these so-called mainstream scientists are intellectually dishonest. They have to be. Otherwise, they've got to have their biases and confirmation biases and stuff like that. They have to. Otherwise, what they preach and everything else wouldn't hold up to scrutiny, basically. They have to have the biases. They're not intellectually honest. It's not intellectual what they're doing at all. It's intellectually dishonest. And it's based on beliefs and assumptions. Yeah. If they were intellectually honest, they'd know that they didn't live on a spinning globe. But they're not intellectually honest. A lot of them are doing it on purpose because they don't want to lose the funding and the job and everything else, basically. But most of them, I say 95% of them, would be like, they ain't got a clue. They're so far up their own arses, they ain't got a clue. Yeah, they can't see the wood for the trees. Euclid is also famous for another enormously influential book, Optics, in which he explained light's behaviour using geometrical principles. He had developed the elements. His theory of light was a basis of artistic perspective, astronomical methods, and navigation methods for more than 2,000 years. Little is known about Euclid personally, and we do not know what he looked like. He was born in around 325 BC, was probably educated in Plato's school in Athens, and he taught mathematics in Alexandria, the great new city of commerce and academia constructed in Egypt during Euclid's lifetime on the orders of Alexander the Great. Alexander built his city in a strategic location where the River Nile meets the Mediterranean Sea. This is a lighthouse from Alexandria. Euclid was probably alive to see construction of Alexandria's Pharaoh's Lighthouse, one of the seven wonders of the ancient world, imaged by Emad Victor Shenouda, or whatever. So there's that look. Not like a modern day skyscraper, doesn't it? With all the windows going up there and everything. On an island, a bit like Alcatraz. I don't know. Right, anyway. Enough of that. These are the lifetimes of selected ancient Greek scientists and philosophers. There we go. There's some Eratosthenes, Archimedes, Euclid, Aristotle, Plato, alright, Pythagoras. Proclus, a 5th century AD mathematician and philosopher, tells us Euclid lived in the time of the Ptolemy I, 323 to 285 BC, and wrote the Elements, employing many of Eudoxus' theorems and perfecting many of Theaetetus's concepts. I think that's how you say it. Proclus also stated that the Elements prove concepts which had been only loosely established by Euclid's predecessors. Proclus tells us that when Ptolemy I, who was presumably finding geometry hard work, asked if there was a shorter path to learning geometry than Euclid's Elements, Euclid told him, There is no royal road to geometry. Serenus of Antinopolis via Johannes Stabaus tells us that when a student asked Euclid what he could gain from learning geometry, Euclid said to a servant, "Give him threepence, and then he will have gained something." Euclid's Elements is a masterpiece, a work of genius whose importance to the intellectual development of our species is difficult to exaggerate. It inspired ancient Greeks such as Archimedes, Persians such as Omar Khayyam, and following the Renaissance, thousands of individual scientists such as Copernicus, Galileo, Isaac Newton, James Clerk Maxwell, Albert Einstein, and Thomas Gold. Working in Alexandria, Euclid compiled mathematical proofs from the Pythagoreans, Eudoxus, and other early Greek mathematicians, strengthened the logical rigour anywhere it was weak, added his own proofs, and produced a work of stunning intellectual power. Euclid was not concerned with solving problems of today in mathematics, such as how many tiles you need to cover a roof. His goal was to discover universal truths that would work forever in all situations. The only tools he allowed himself were a straight edge and a compass. Starting with a few self-evident principles, such as that all right angles are equal, Euclid deduced and proved a large number of ever more sophisticated mathematical theorems, placing them in the Elements, 13 books. The Elements deals with three fields: geometry in 2 dimensions, number theory, and geometry in 3 dimensions. It includes an extraordinarily beautiful proof that there are infinitely many prime numbers. It also includes the first ever non-trivial mathematical algorithm, perhaps devised by followers of Pythagoras, which Euclid uses to calculate the greatest common divisor of 2 numbers. Here's Greek language papyrus here, look. Following Johannes Gutenberg's introduction of movable type printing in 1450, Euclid's Elements, first printed in 1482, is second only to the Bible in the number of editions released. The Elements is Euclid's most famous work. The book is logically set out into 13 books so that it can be used easily as a reference. I'm going to do this bit in the next video, I think, where it's going to be too long. So there'll be a part 2 to this. I'll be doing that in a minute. Okay, thank you. Goodbye.